So we should be good to go. Let's get into this and let's introduce our players. To the bottom right hand side, we're going to be starting things off. It's going to be our pink Zerg player. It is Scarlett. She spawns to the bottom right of Echo. To the top left hand side is going to be our blue cross player. It is Welmu from NC Sports. So yeah, we were going to go into Mario Curious, but that got taken away from us by the ESL stream, which is obviously fair enough. I mean, it's a pretty good match. We would have been very lucky to get to cast that. For example, like yesterday, we got very lucky. We managed to get Innovation Hero. That was sick. But yeah, we got very lucky. So, I mean, it's always a little bit of luck in these qualifiers as to what, you know, if you're looking for a match and a good match is starting and no one else is looking for it and stuff like that. I mean, it can turn out quite nicely a lot of the time. But anyways, we jump into this and we wait to see how things are going to be going in the next few moments of the game. PVZ on Echo is, I mean, generally pros players kind of like this map. Very easy to defend 3 bases. Can't really do a lot of Zerg other than just tech up. I wonder how, I mean, we saw yesterday, I think it was yesterday, some Hydra based play on this map, which is very effective because of the ability to sort of fight at the frontier of the extra range and very quickly kind of rotate around a lot. And that extra range in the Hydras helps them sort of fight from the low ground a bit on like pylons up here and so on. So I do sort of wonder maybe how this will go as we set up into Scarlett Welmu game number 1. I never really liked Echo, I'm not going to lie. Back when it was in the map pool, I don't know if I didn't like Echo or if it was just because of the fact it was always played in every single series, and it was always played alongside Coda, which was, in a lot of ways, you know, in a lot of ways they played out in very similar ways, you know? They both, you know, take 3 bases very easily. Coda's a bit harder to hold the 3 bases on, but outside of that, you know, it's all very, it was all very similar. So, I'm not too sure if that was something that, you know, I'm not too sure if I just don't like Echo, if I just didn't like the map pool back then, which made me not like Echo. Because, that's, yeah, that's kind of, it's kind of an interesting one to think about, I guess. I think I don't think I mind Echo, I just think I saw it so much back then, it was like so stale, because we saw it every single time, that it was very, it became very frustrating, so... Bad experiences, I suppose, is a good summary. Am I okay? I look very tired? I'm fine. I shouldn't look that tired. Everyone keeps saying I look tired, like, maybe I just have like a tired face. Maybe I just look like this all the time. Maybe I mean, I am pretty tired. I'm not that tired. But I don't look tired. I think you just mixing up my, I think you're just mixing up my tired face with my focused on getting into the game face and frustration of trying to get into the game face, because it is like quite stressful getting into games and making sure that we can bring you guys games while also trying to talk at the same time and stuff like this. It's probably one of the toughest things about solo casting, actually trying to find games and tournaments like this while also kind of keeping you guys entertained, trying not to repeat myself and not just blabber on about nonsense for hours on end. Zerglin's taking a little bit of damage here early on, as we're going to be seeing one of them popping down and dying pretty quickly. A couple of depths just going to sit here by this pylon, and you know, you see Probe is going to pop down a pylon to the left side of this main base. So, little bits and pieces. We're going to see the Oracle popping on up though, and we'll head across the map, and a Void Ray as well. Probably just to clean out some overlords, but maybe we see a few more Void Rays being introduced into the play. We saw this yesterday, I can't remember who from, but we saw some Void Ray based play yesterday. Someone was going to Neeb, he went into oh, that was in PvT though, right? Not PvZ. He went Oracle into 3 Void Rays in PvT, which is very weird, very different. But that wasn't this matchup, so you can't really take that as much of a tell as to something that might happen. So the Void Ray probably just clean a couple overloads and so on, and little bits and pieces like that. And I do like the Void Ray, especially on maps like Echo, where there's only very few sort of entrances to the natural main / third, because it means you can cut off one of the entrances by air with that Void Ray. And then all of a sudden, boom, you are defending from kind of Bane drops and things like that. Look at that though, very fast fleet beacon. What on earth is Welmu about to show us? Like, what on earth is Welmu about to show us? Double Stargate now. What's he going to rush into? Is he just going to play straight up Sky Toss? I mean, that is a possibility, especially on Echo, where, you know, you can pile on, lots of cannons, and stay very safe and defensive in the early stages. So, it's definitely a possibility. The cannons and stack defense go a long way to helping you kind of survive until you get your Sky Toss Army up. They're basically your mineral dump instead of kind of putting money into zealots or anything like that, you know. So we've seen the border here for Namden Randy. He's going to go straight to carriers. Wow. Well, that is crazy. That's super greedy. That's crazy. He's actually super greedy. Well, I mean, if Scarlett scouts this, she just kills him with like a group of spine timing on the Hydralisks. If she doesn't scout this and doesn't attack, then I guess she might just lose to mass carrier because she doesn't see it come in. Like, it's a very weird way to play, like just going into carriers right from the get-go. Very different way of going about things. We're going to be seeing this 2 carriers coming up. Okay, Scarlett comes in, she scouts it, so she sees what is happening, sees the carriers morphing in on the Stargates. Obviously, that's a good little tip in case you never knew. You can see what unit is building out of a Stargate. The only unit in the game, I believe, where you can see what only construction in the game where you can see what unit is building out of it while it's building. We know if a building has different animations based on what's coming out of it. As far as I'm aware, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I mean, carriers are on the way out, so this is a good scout from Scarlett. Seeing this means that she probably will just get aggressive. Maybe needs a few more Hydras, but I don't think 3 Roaches and 4 Hydras are quite going to do the job. But you can already see her begin to push on forwards, and that classic Scarlett's creep spread starting to come out into the center of the map as well. Already about halfway through the middle of the map here, starting to push out to the sides as well. She takes not just the 4th base, but 5th base also. Knowing that this might be a long macro sort of game, actually she's not going to hit Hydra timing. She's just going to build a Spire and a Hive. She's just going to go straight into Corruptors and her own late game. So she might try and get a bit aggressive here. I guess it might be a bit too difficult against a full energy Mothership Core and so on. And she's just saying, well, if I commit to like a Hydra timing, I can end up in a bit of trouble as Roaches and Hydras will outrange that pylon. Oh, sorry, overcharge the back pylon. I was gonna say like, I didn't realize Roaches could outrange a pylon, and they don't. It was just a different pylon she was targeting than what Welmu was overcharging. Oh, what a mix-up of words there in the last 10 seconds. Alright, multiple carriers coming in at a time. We also see Resonating Glaives being invested into, so obviously wants to add some adepts into the composition on the ground. So Welmu with a very different way of playing right now. Just again, super fast Stargate. I imagine you can't really do this on every map, because I imagine on other maps that have a bit more of an open third, you would just die to some sort of Hydra-based time. But because it's Echo, you can just play a bit more greedy and go straight towards those carriers, and that's exactly what we're seeing him do. So, just setting on up, getting ready to go. We're going to see these Roaches and Hydras just moving around towards the bottom side. See a few Corruptors joined on in as well. Scarlett obviously has a pretty good idea of what's going on now. She's going into +1 flyer attacks. A lot of people are saying as well that if you go into carriers that you just sort of die to +1 Corruptors. But because this is super fast carriers, then maybe the +1 Corruptors just come in too late to really punish it, and there's just going to be too many carriers out. Because the carriers started up in production much earlier than you expect. That said, it is still pretty fast Corruptors too. I mean, we're 9 minutes in the game, 8.5 minutes, and there's multiple carriers on the map, and there is multiple Corruptors, Vipers, and Hydras on the map. So it's a bit of a weird one. I was going to be seeing these Corruptors, carriers, sorry, just getting rid of these rocks. I'm just going to see this hallucination being scattered around as well, just trying to identify what's going on. Sees the hive, so we'll know that Vipers are starting to come into play. Vipers will be a big part of this, going to try and abduct those carriers in towards the main army, I imagine. I wouldn't imagine Parasitic Bomb being as much of a player in this, but we shall see. We'll see how this develops, and see the units just continue moving around. A few more interceptors returning to those carriers now. I'm just going to be seeing a second Spire on the way up as well to really keep going with these air-based upgrades, just to keep Scarlett really kind of in a comfortable position as the game goes on. Okay, continue to push around the sides of the map, I mean, in all directions as well. She really has this map more or less covered already. Give it another minute or two, and it is going to be completely covered in creep. So we're going to be seeing these units starting to make their way through the rocks. Opening up the map is generally going to be better for the Zerg than the Protoss player. Here we go, a few interceptors popping on forwards. Not too much happening there just yet. Scarlett just thinking about how she wants to try and engage into this. I think again abduct's going to be the way forward. She abducts these carriers into the Hydralisks. Corruptors starting to see some target firing down as well. You can just see that a lot of these carriers starting to fall pretty quickly. She's starting to fight the interceptors too now. She just leaves her corruptors in the front, and wow, she absolutely destroys this. Every single carrier is going to go down. A couple of Archons coming in on the ground here finally, but way too late, I feel. Every carrier falls. Scarlett scouts this early and just shows us how to completely destroy this. Super fast Hive, super fast Spire. Just going from there. That said, there's still a lot of ground army here as well, and that might be something to keep in mind that, you know, Welmu didn't actually commit fully to the air units. He did have quite a lot on the ground as well. And that actually might be something Scarlett doesn't have much of an answer for at the moment, you know? Like, she has not got very many units to deal with this ground-based army. That said, she does have coming into play these more roaches, these hydras as well. She's going to be able to hold this off, and Scarlett completely shuts this down in game number 1. The carrier play does not work out. Scarlett's like, hey, I thought you guys said carriers were broken. Nuh-uh. Carriers are as bad as ever. In Scarlett's eyes. Scarlett makes them look as bad as ever anyways. This was interesting. Viper Hydra, once again, the savior of Zerg. Viper Hydra doing pretty well in the ZvT as well. To be fair, it wasn't really Viper Hydra. It was a big part about the Corruptors here and being able to get rid of those carriers nice and quickly, so that's a pretty big deal as Roaches and Hydras just denying the 4th base. Enough ground army here from Scarlett now to realistically be capable of defending, and as the Voiders come out, that's really where you want to go back into kind of more Hydras. Actually, Welmu just loses his natural expansion to the Corruptors, kind of caustic spraying. Losing the natural is going to be a big air army is a lot easier to micro than, say, trying to micro Blink Stalkers or, trying to move around with Adepts all the time. Little things like that, you know? So, I think it's pretty fair to say that that was a pretty decent game, number 1 for Welmu, in terms of having to play with latency. So it'll be interesting to see what he tries to do now as we enter game number 2. To the top right-hand side of the map, our pink Zerg player is going to be Scarlett, from Team Expert, of course, and the On Fire clan. To the bottom left-hand side, our blue Protoss player from NC Sports. It is Welmu. Hey guys, what's up and welcome to the stream. If you just joined us here, you're watching the IEM Gyeonggi Qualifiers day number 2. Hope you're all having a fantastic day already, and I'm glad you're all joining us and deciding to tune in. There's obviously so many streams bringing you guys the action here from the IEM Qualifiers. We're so happy to be able to provide you guys some extra games, and so happy that so many of you decided to join us as well. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out the channel and checking out the games we have to show you. So, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. When there's so many other streams, it's always like a little bit crazy. Like when there's so many other streams, it's always crazy that we can still bring in like 200 viewers and stuff, like, because it's just, there's so much other competition and so on. It's ridiculous. So very, very much, guys. Appreciate it. Much love to all of you. Of course, if you do enjoy the stream, you want to support also than just tuning in viewing, which is obviously greatly appreciated as it stands, but if you do want to support a little bit further, you can always check out multiple ways to support, such as subscribing to the channel. You can donate, you can cheer, there's a Patreon page. The links for the majority of that are below the stream, and there's a few different benefits here and there which are mentioned around the place as well. Don't want to dwell on that for too long though, because we're already in this game, so we're just going to be looking to see which direction this is going to head in as well. Once again, just 3 hatches early. Looks as though Scarlett was blocked on a natural, so took the 3rd base first, then the natural. Doesn't make too much of a difference here. Very minimal difference, really. And as we see the Mothership Core is on the way out from Welmu, he's just gone for a gateway-based expansion here on Overgrowth. And I would be surprised, honestly, if we saw a super aggressive game out of Welmu. That's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say I'd be surprised if we saw like him playing into like carriers again, like the last game, because the map just doesn't allow you to do that quite as easily. That said, Welmu is going to go for the Twilight Council. Yeah, I think, sometimes, super aggressive. Sometimes super aggressive, you just have to kind of be aggressive. You just have to deal with it and go for it. You have to play through latency. Yeah, that was just me sort of going on autopilot, and then like I took a moment or two, I was like, that wasn't what I wanted to say. I broke down a second and stopped talking. Darkshrine comes down, and as the Robo Facility comes in, it means a very common sort of setup. As we see, Scarlett actually scouts this perfectly. She's able to see the Darkshrine and the Robo and the Twilight, so she sees absolutely everything. And she knows exactly what's going on in these early stages. So, Good information for Scarlett here, early on in the game. We're just going to be seeing this. Lara's on the way up on the main base. So Lara's about 30%, 40% of the way done. She's going into this nice fast Lara, which generally means a nice fast Hydra's Den. Get into those Hydra upgrades very early, the Groove Spines, the Muscular Augments, and just see where you can go from there with the Hydra-based play. And you do have the drones continuing to come on in. Warp Prism is on the way up from Welmu as well, so Warp Prism coming into play here, and it's going to be seeing the again, Dark Shrine finishing up in the very near future. A couple of extra gateways will be finishing very soon too from Welmu. So there's 2 extra gates finish on up, then morph into Warp Gate, and go from there. 2 extra gates morph into Warp Gate, and there is that Warp Prism now starting to move out onto the map. So Warp Prism on the map here from Welmu, moving in towards the northern side to see what's going on and what's happening. The Roach Speed is going to start on up here as well, cancels the Roach Speed. So Scarlett decides against that, and she is just going to take an extra gas, and what's she going to go for? 4 gas is up already. Has to be some sort of tech here at some point soon. She can't just stick on building roaches at this point. So here come her 2 Archons early in the game. The 2 Archons from Welmu early in the game. I'm just going to be moving forwards to see if they can get some damage done already. Still Scarlett with these few queens moving forward. She's going to find the Warp Prism. Damage onto this already keeps the Archons back. Good defense so far. Scarlett going to really minimize the damage Welmu can get done with this right from the very start. That's fantastic. I mean, the less you get done with this Archon drop, the worst position you end up in is, look at this big gateway follow-up attack from Welmu. 8 gates in total. Immortals have been added on, gunning to charge as well. I guess there's going to be 8 gate charged on Immortal Archon to try and end game number 2 in his favor. So Welmu is going to go super aggressive. So I couldn't have screwed up a bit more earlier when I said I don't think he's going to go super aggressive. That's a mistake. So we'll just all flame Wardy. You know what? Just flame Wardy. Because this was bad by me. My own mistake. Apologies, guys. Yeah, 2 Archons coming in towards the main base. They're going to drop down. You see the Queen is going to take a few shots of damage. Or just coming towards as well to try to push those Archons away. So those Archons getting pushed away as they lift back up into the Warp Prism here. As you see more creep spread pushing out onto the map. So creep up the left-hand side. Creep up through this natural and third base as well. And just continue to move on through. So she's setting up this creep spread. As she did in the last game very well. 4th base coming down too. She just has to make sure she makes enough units. Now, she's still only making roaches. She has a lot of minerals in the bank. But still only making roaches. No other tech structure added on. I'm not sure how pure roach does against sort of like a 7-minute 2-base timing. Like, when there's roaches against immortals and archons, we've always got to be a little bit concerned. Now, there probably is going to be some Ravagers morphing in Scarlett, but she doesn't have that much gas. She has the gas morphing 4 Ravagers right now, which is not too many. She picks off 1 DT, which gets walked in. There's the Hydrogen going down. Oh no, Scarlett's still making drones as well. She's already on 66. I'm very worried for her in terms of defending this attack, because there's just going to be so many units. 8 gates at a time for Welmu to warp in from as well is really going to make life very, very difficult. You see these units moving over to the right-hand side, taking the right-hand watchtower. I'm going to be going up this ramp perhaps to attack. A few more roaches coming into play. Plus 1 missiles is very close to finishing too. As we see the attacks beginning to get going, Zealous will charge on towards the Immortals. Will be a big part of this right now. Here will be the real big damage deals against a lot of these roaches. Nice forces to split the army in half a little bit here. Some units from the right-hand side. Time Warp's going down to help out against this. As you can see, Archons and Immortals fighting very effectively to the left-hand side on their own. Is there enough here from Welmu? It really does look as though he is going to have way too much right now as he pushes on through. Zealots are going to overrun in the natural expansion. The Spine Crawl's getting taken down. Immortals pushing into the left still. And honestly, way too many units. Welmu is just going to push on through to victory here. Scar just a little bit too greedy, and again, I just don't think roaches on their own were ever going to be enough to fight against this. I mean, a few Ravagers maybe. I mean, maybe just overdrawn a little bit. I mean, the roaches on their own might have been enough if she just cut drones like 10 drones or so earlier from seeing no third base or so. She didn't, so I mean, there's a lot. Number 3. Jumped in about 2 minutes in, but nothing too crazy happened. If it did, I would have come out of the break and brought you guys the action right from the get-go, rather than making you continue to watch ads while stuff was going on. There's just been a very standard hatch gas pool out of Scarlett. There's a player to the bottom left-hand side in pink. And to the top right, the blue Protoss player is going to be Welmu. Gate expand from him to the top right-hand side of Daybreak. So as we set up here, we're just going to be looking to see what's going on in the early stages. We're going to be seeing Nexus finishing up on the natural expansion of Welmu. And just going to be seeing how exactly this game will develop over the next few moments. Let me just tab quickly, guys, so we can run the ads. And obviously do appreciate you guys watching the ads. It does make it so that we can obviously help support the stream and bring you guys these games on a consistent, regular basis, these streams on a consistent, regular basis as well. Twilight Council coming down here from Welmu as we see a couple of wings going to sneak on in, so they're going to get a very early scout at this Twilight Council. Scarlett will know all the possibilities of what you can watch out for here. Robo as well, so very similar build to the last game from Welmu. Twilight and Robo already coming down. Dark Shrine probably to follow up as well. When you see the Robo this fast, it's unlikely to be Adepts. You just don't need a Robo for Adepts this quickly, so Twilight Robo generally means a Dark Shrine. You see the Zeglin here actually going to pick off one of these probes, so I think it's been a little bit of a nuisance. Now, we might actually see a no Dark Shrine now, just because this was scouted so early, not just the Twilight, but the Robo as well. It's just the Twilight then. I mean, he's going to put it down. To be fair, I mean, you look at this, and the Dark Shrine is a build in which, at this point of the metagame, is actually not even for the Dark Temple, it's for the Archon, so it's not even about... I mean, it's for DTs as well, because DTs are useful to harass with early on, but, you know, it's about the Archon drop. That's the main part of this build that becomes super useful and super powerful, so... We'll see these few lings just going to back away from that mothership core for now. Just going to back away and, yeah, just going to be seeing these lings just going to stick around on the tower. Scarlett really needs to kind of, you know, look for a few things here going into this game now. Look to improve her scout and make sure she knows if any kind of big timing attack is going to be coming her way in the early stages of the game. Anything like that. Needs to sort of keep her eyes out for it. That's the sort of thing which can definitely kill her once again in this. As I really feel as though she sort of... I mean, it didn't look close towards the end, but I feel as though like one less round of drones and one more round of units goes a long way to making that just so much more even in the early stages. So I feel as though that's definitely the sort of way you can progress on and maybe make a bit of a difference compared to that last game. So see how this goes. A couple of queens is going to sit out the front, and we're going to be seeing Crypt Tumors coming on down. Crypt coming on down here, we see BDT is going to pick up a ling or so to begin with. Spores are up. I mean, Scarlett knows what this build is likely to be, so she's already got spores in position. Units in position too. These DTs will just have to become Archon. She even has an Overseer with this early lair she's gone for. As well, goes for pretty much the same build again. Was building an Immortal a few moments ago, now adding on Gateways. Missing out on Charge though, so you're not going to get that Charge upgrade, which is a little bit of a difference from what we've seen. And as we're going to be seeing this War Prism continue through the top side of the map. You can see one Archon starting to morph in right now. There's the charge upgrade starting to build, so that charge is on the way up. A second Archon starting to come in now as well, so 2 Archons total. And we're going to be seeing from just beginning to move forwards to harass once again. The more harassment damage you get done now, the better position you end up in, of course. You know, if you're in a, if you're doing more damage now, then you do find yourself able to really sort of pick away. And just, you know, the more damage you do now, it's just harder for the kind of your opponent to hold on. Scarlett's response is this time to add a Baneling Nest, so she's going to go Banelings as well. The idea will be to kind of crush through the initial Zealots with the Banelings, and once the Zealots are crushed through, then the Immortal Archon becomes so much more, well, it just becomes very vulnerable to the Roaches. I mean, it still gets rid of Roaches and Ravages quickly, but it just dies faster because there's not Zealots to tank, right? So that's going to be Scarlett's aim this time around in game number 3 as she looks to defend this attack the second time around. As well, just trying to go with what worked in game number 2. Wants to try and win this series, move on through to the round of, I think round of 16, maybe round of 8. Not 100% sure exactly what the rounds are here today. As we see these couple of Archons to the right hand side. I'm just going to be picking off a Zergling or 2. And Zed is going to be moving forwards. Just going to take this watchtower. I'm just going to see this War Prism to the south side as well, looking to move on through. Just look to see what's up and look to see what is happening. So War Prism just moving around here. We see an Immortal is on the way up as well. And you're going to be seeing the Nexus coming up over on the third base. So Nexus coming up over on the third base. And yeah, War Prism just continue to move around. waiting for this attack, which isn't going to come because the third base is on the way up. So, well, I'm just going to take a super safe. I mean, surely he pressures at least, though. I mean, why would you go into this many gateways to then just take a third base? Like, you know, you can fall back on the third base, but I still feel as though you've got to at least try to pressure forwards a little bit. Otherwise, you've just delayed yourself for no purpose at all, apart from to maybe make yourself feel a little bit safer. And maybe to play a mind game as well, but I mean, there isn't even that many more probes coming in, you know. 49 probes is just barely past 2-base saturation. There's no extra probes being made right now. I'm just going to see these units coming over the left-hand side. Zealots, Archons, and Immortals coming on forwards, and we're going to see what's happening. Roaches, Ravages, and Banes again set to go. We've seen a War Prism is moving up this left-hand side. We're going to see what's happening. Guardian is going to get popped. Here we go. Banes are going to run on forwards. They're going to connect quite nicely to get rid of the Zealots. Initially, here come the Crews of Files as well. Is there enough Rogue Ravages to push on through this? I think the answer is yes. Very easily, there's enough. Welmu delaying this attack compared to the last game, which is another minute or so. He just gives Scarlett way too many units in time to defend this, and everything goes down. Welmu gets absolutely crushed. GG. Scarlett takes it 2-1 and will move on through to the next round of the competition. Wow, that was